let's listen to the audiobook A Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury, Level B2, Oxford Reading University.
Eccles looked at the sign on the wall. It said, "Time Safari Agency. We take you to any year in the past. You shoot the animal." Eccles hesitated for a moment and then approached the man behind the desk. He showed the man a check for $10,000 and asked, "Do you guarantee that I come back alive from the hunting?" "We guarantee nothing except the dinosaurs," the man answered. "Here's Mr. Travis. He'll conduct the instructions on your safari in the past and accompany you during the hunting. If he commands you not to shoot, you obey. Otherwise, there'll be a stiff penalty, plus some issues with the government on your return." Eccles looked at the vast office full of wires and steel boxes. "This time machine is unique," he exclaimed with delight. "If Keith's opponent had won yesterday's presidential election, I would have run here looking for shelter." "Yes, Dutcher has a terrible reputation," the man replied. "Nevertheless, we don't work with escapes, only with safaris. But you're surely going to have some fun." "If I shoot my dinosaur," Eccles said with a broad smile. "Not just any dinosaur. That's Tyrannosaurus Rex, the most aggressive being in the entire history," the man emphasized. "Sign this contract, please. If anything happens to you, we are not responsible for that under any circumstances." "Are you trying to frighten me?" Eccles asked. "We don't need a man who will collapse at the first shot. A bunch of safari specialists and hunters were killed last year. You still can tear your check up." Eccles looked at him, his face pale. "Mr. Travis, he is yours," the man finished after a pause. They took their guns in silence and moved toward the machine. It was launched with a roar. Days, nights, weeks, years, and decades were replacing each other at high speed. The men put on their oxygen helmets and tested the intercoms. There were 5 of them: Eccles, Travis, his assistant named Lesperance, and 2 other hunters, Billings and Kramer. Eccles looked at a new rifle he was armed with. "Can it help to defeat the dinosaurs?" he asked. "If you hit them right," said Travis on the helmet radio. "First, you need to shoot at their eyes to make them blind. Then aim for the brain." The machine's scream began to die down, and finally it stopped. The crew was looking at a mysterious landscape of prehistoric times. "That," Mr. Travis pointed out, "is the wildlife of dozens of millions of years before President Keith. Jesus isn't born yet. Pyramids are still in the sands. And that," he indicated a metal path that was stretching through the jungle, "is the path of your time safari. It floats 6 inches above the earth. Whatever happens, don't step off it. Moreover, you mustn't touch anything or shoot without my permission." "Why?" Eccles asked. "We don't want to destroy the future. You might change it significantly by harming the local species." "I still don't get it," said Eccles. "Maybe you could give me a thorough explanation?" "Let's assume that you've stepped on a simple mouse," Mr. Travis began. "This way, you kill many generations of mice that should have followed. With the reduction of mice population, foxes will start dying. Without foxes, lions will be starving. Years afterward, a caveman won't be able to hunt a lion because by stepping on one mouse, you've stepped on all the future lions in this region. By killing one man, you may destroy a whole race. Without one mouse in the remote past, the whole universe would be different." Are we not even permitted to touch the grass? Eccles asked once again. That's it. A soft breath, a light feather thrown in the air. A slight change may cause multiple long-term consequences. Your clothing and bodies were sterilized in order to not put infections here. Also, we wear oxygen helmets so that none of our bacteria get into the ancient atmosphere. You're here to observe and shoot an animal, and that's it. How have you detected a dinosaur that suits our purposes? Lesperance was sent here earlier today to choose one and mark it with red paint, explained Mr. Travis. I've checked the lifetime of several dinosaurs, Lesperance added, to make sure that they were short enough. Finally, I spotted one that was going to die when a tree fell on it and noted the exact moment of its death. I shot a paint bomb which left a red mark on the dinosaur's side. We arrived here a few minutes before its death. Thus, we will kill an animal that won't have any children. Finally, the men stepped out of the machine. They stood on the path surrounded by the ancient tropical forest full of numerous sounds. Huge pterodactyls with massive wings were screaming somewhere in the sky. Eccles tried to aim his rifle at them playfully, but Mr. Travis stopped him angrily. Lesperance took a brief look at his watch. We'll see it in 60 seconds, he said. Look for a red mark and don't shoot without our approval. Stay on the path. Eccles, you shoot first, ordered Travis, then Billings. Kramer, you go last. Terrible weakness spread through Eccles's body. All the courage had left him. Suddenly he heard Mr. Travis whisper, "There it is." The sounds of the jungle died down, and the men stood in absolute silence. The next moment it was interrupted by a loud sound of thunder. The shade of an enormous creature was coming out of the mist. It was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Its huge legs were carrying a massive body, covered with oily skin. Each leg had 1,000 pounds of muscles, meat, and bones. From a broad breast, 2 delicate arms were hanging down. This monster could capture a human and examine him like a little toy. It lifted its big head and exposed a row of sharp teeth. Its evil eyes were rolling madly. It ran with a balanced step, breaking trees down and leaving huge marks in the ground with its claws. It can reach up and grab the moon, Eccles said. He was shocked. Shh, Travis whispered. It hasn't spotted us yet. It cannot be defeated, Eccles said in a shaking voice. It's a nightmare. We were fools to come here. I want out, now. Shut up and go back to the machine without making any noise. We'll return the half of your fee, commanded Travis. The dinosaur raised itself and looked at the men. Its body was shining like millions of green coins. It opened its mouth and an unpleasant smell of raw meat blew down into the air. Don't run, stay calm and hide in the machine, said Lesperance. Yes, Eccles replied. He felt as if he was frozen. He looked at his feet and moved slowly in the opposite direction. Not that way, Eccles. At that very moment, the dinosaur rushed toward them. The guns started shooting. The dinosaur roared, its teeth shining in the sun. Its huge tail was crashing into the trees, turning them into clouds of dust and leaves. It stretched its hands towards the men, ready to tear them in pieces. As if unconscious, Eccles stepped off the path and walked into the jungle. He moved his legs without knowing what he was doing. Meanwhile, the men managed to shoot the monster directly in the eye. Like a stone monument, it fell, breaking the metal path with its body, and lay still. The hunters stood in silence, covered head to toe in dinosaur's blood. The men began to wipe the blood off their helmets. Then another loud sound came. The branch of a gigantic tree broke off and fell on the dead monster's body. "Right on time," said Lesperance. "This tree was scheduled to kill this being. Do you want a picture with the body?" "What do you mean?" the hunters asked. "We can't take the body to the future. The birds, insects, and bacteria need it right here. But you can take a trophy picture." The men thought for a moment, then refused. Slowly, they returned to the machine. Inside, Eccles was sitting, shaking all over. "I'm so sorry," he said, almost crying. Travis pointed his gun at him and said sharply, "Get out of the machine. You won't come back with us." Lesperance tried to stop him, but he brushed his hand off. "He nearly killed us," Travis shouted furiously. "And look at his shoes. He left the path. I'll have to report to the officials. We'll have to pay thousands of dollars of insurance. We may lose our license for travel. And the worst is that his actions may influence the future." "I'll pay for everything, any money," cried Eccles. "Take my knife and go to the beast," Travis said. "There are bullets inside its body. They don't belong to the past. Take them out, then you may come back with us." Eccles moved slowly along the path, back into this ancient world full of threats and nightmares. 5 minutes later he returned, with his hands covered in blood. In each of them he held some steel bullets. Then he fell unconscious. "Launch the machine, Lesperance," Travis said in a tired voice. "Let's go home." The room looked the same as they left it, but it was not quite the same. Something had changed, although it was hard to point out what exactly. "Is everything all right here?" asked Travis. He felt anxious. "Everything is fine, Mr. Travis," the man replied. "Welcome home." Travis turned to the machine. "Why are you staring at me, Eccles?" he asked. "Get out and never come back." Eccles breathed in the air. He could detect a slight chemical smell, so light, almost unnoticeable. In the colors, in the walls, in the furniture, something was off. The world behind the window looked familiar, but felt different. Eccles looked at the sign on the wall and froze in horror. It said, "Time Seafaring Agency. We take you to any year in the past. You shoot the animal." Eccles fell into the chair. Unconsciously, he started rubbing the mud off his boots. Then he stopped with a crazy look on his face. "It cannot be," he whispered. "Not such a tiny thing." He was looking at his hands all covered in dirt. A beautiful butterfly was lying there. A dead butterfly. "Who won the presidential election yesterday?" he asked in a shaking voice. "Are you serious?" replied the man behind the desk. "It was Dutcher, of course. Now we have a truly strong leader." Eccles dropped to his knees and grabbed the golden butterfly with shaking fingers. "Can't we handle this problem?" he cried. "Can't we take it back and make it alive again? Can't we?" He fell silent and closed his eyes. He heard Travis shift the gun and raise it. There was a sound of thunder.
When you were listening, how many words felt new to you? Wouldn't it be great if you could just click on them and see the translation? Well, in the Ewa app you can. Listen to thousands of audiobooks. Check the meaning of new words as you read. Practice them later and remember faster. Try Ewa today and make learning easier. Send this story to a friend who likes free audiobooks. And now, check out another awesome video.